The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour. And I think I forgot one thing here because I haven't done the show in here for so long. But I forgot to put my microphone on, and we forgot to check that I put my microphone on. So we're going to soldier through here. But we should be good now, right? Okay. Anyway, we shall persevere. Anyway, this is David White, your humble, lovable, squeezably a soft host for this hour in a market that is light and variable. Kind of like calling the weather out here, down here in the summer. Lutz, it's 87. It's 87 and a half, probably down there in Brandon, and it's a warm 87 over there in Pinellas Park, and it's 87 up north, and it's 87. Oh, it's 88 down south. That's about the same thing we've got going on here, and that is light and variable. Not a lot to report today, but we're getting a ton of signals in the market, and that is a push higher. And this push higher, especially on the S&P, is very interesting because it's tough to see a market go sideways like this and go up 10, 12, 13 points in a week with no volume and not even be able to get a good short squeeze going on the market itself. A few stocks, we'll talk about them. They're out there, you know, cats away, the mice will play kind of thing, but that's about it. Volume is coming in at a measly 1.6 billion shares, and I think a lot of people thought maybe Janet Yellen coming out and speaking today would get something going out here, but absolutely nothing. She was out speaking at one. I listened to her. I think I nodded off 3 times. I had it rolling in the car, and she can put you to sleep pretty good. If you want to listen, if you're having trouble sleeping, just play one of those wonderful speeches. She was talking about being in Rhode Island and couldn't understand why they were lagging the rest of the United States. And I think, could you just ask them if they were pro-capitalism or anti-capitalism in Rhode Island? I think it would give you all the answers you need to find out why some states like Florida persevering, Texas going gangbusters, other states having pretty decent problems, trying to run away business if they can. And for all the grief we give a lot of these companies for the bad things they do give a lot of jobs and health care and other things out to people. If they're not doing any bad, you always go after the one rotten apple in the barrel. I do digress, and of course I have to sing my theme song for history repeating, and here it goes. A little bit of history repeating. That's about as far as I'm a spoken word singer, kind of like all those Star Trek guys. Anyway, today in 1996, Iomega, the maker of zip disk drives, becomes the first love child of the internet investing boom, boosted by individuals, investors egging each other on, and a newfangled forums called chat rooms, mostly on Yahoo, and bulletin boards other places. The stock hits $27 a share, adjusted for 2 stock splits in the previous 4 months, even though it's followed by almost nobody in Wall Street. The stock is up 2,100% over the previous year. Unfortunately, exactly 1 year later, Iomega stock will end up at $8.62, a 68% loss from today. But kind of the modern era of the Beanie Baby and the people talking about it. I started playing with iOmega drives in probably 1991 and 92, and just being able to have, a couple of 10 or 20 megabyte cartridge was, it seemed incredible. And when they got to 100 megabytes, I thought it was insane. And I was actually, of course, using a great deal of those in my work and thought it was a good company. But boy, were people just insane about this stock or what? Think about Apple. If Apple had a product, but Apple was, instead of trading at 130 some odd bucks today, was trading at 1,300 bucks for the same amount of sales. I think it would give you a good idea. And you couldn't say anything about it. If you said maybe the price was a little high on CNBC, you would have been you would have been tortured, kind of like Mel Gibson at the end of Braveheart. I think that's about as easy as you would have gotten off. These people were the most rabid people ever available, and they called them the Iomegians. But nothing's new on Wall Street. There has always been the speculative episode, euphoria, and, of course, reality when it comes back. But today, in 1996, Iomega Corporation makes a high and ushers in what is going to be the dot-com boom-bust cycle over the next 4 years. Meg Whitman with Hewlett-Packard, talking about earnings, says, "Today, I'm more convinced than ever this is the right thing to do." Whitman said that she proceeded to explain the total dyssynergies. That's got to be a $10 word right there. Dyssynergies. I've never heard anybody in their company actually explain it that way, so I knew this one was a red flag out here. A fancy word for cost for the separation that will equate to $400 million to $450 million to split the company in two. And I don't know if there's going to be any biblical kind of person hanging around talking about dividing up a baby, but I think that's kind of what we're getting into with HP. A lot of people don't see whether or not it's going to be worth the kind of money that a lot of people are talking that it will be. And but looks, at least on the skin of things, that they are saying that both companies will have equal burdens when they are split apart. Other things going on, of course, Greece is still the word. More discussions last night. This time, not a lot of food fights and words after, just a lot of you better get a parallel currency and get that set up now. And that was the Germans to the Greeks. You better get something else other than that euro, because this thing's probably coming to an end. And a lot of other people ran in and said, he really didn't mean it, excuse him, he had a late night, didn't know what he was talking about, was just keep whistling past the graveyard. But they reiterated that this morning, and it looks like it's only a matter of time before they can no longer kick the can down the road. I think the deadline is the 5th of June, and I think they're just playing out the end of a very bad movie. I don't know what else you can say about that. James Chambers, who's, of course, the CEO of Cisco, is and may be in some trouble because Senator John McCain, former presidential candidate, has found out that maybe he was skirting economic sanctions against Russia and shipping a bunch of Cisco routers to basically find people that are dissidents in Russia. Mr. McCain chairs the Senate Armed Services Committee and pressured for more U.S. action against Russia in response to involvement in Ukraine. Of course, Chambers is leaving in about 6 months. He may be leaving a little sooner than that to exit stage left before they can have a lot of hearings and find out exactly what John Chambers was doing and what he wasn't doing, playing footsies with the Russians. But what else can you say? Doesn't seem to be changing anything. National Association of Realtors said that existing home sales ran at a seasonally adjusted rate of 5 million, actually 5.04 million, down 3.3% from March's upwardly revised pace and 6.1% from last March's seasonally adjusted pace. The NAR's estimate was below both projections and regional tracking and consensus forecast. I suspect that the high is in housing, and we will see not a cliff, but a gentle slope all the way into September, where we're most likely, and I think did I see the Fed rates saying that there was a 95% chance that the Fed will raise rates in September? I think that's what I saw this morning. Relative to March, April sales were up 1.7% in the Midwest, but down 1.7% in the West, down 3.3% in the Northwest, and a sizably 6.8% in the South. And that's where everything is sucking the most. And that is anywhere that's actually did a little bit better over the last couple of years. Seems that everybody has found a seat in the musical chair part of housing, and continues to be tough. Anyway, it is a mad market out here, so we're going to get to charts as soon as possible. Few earnings out here. The way that ARO responded to earnings last night has got a lot of people thinking that maybe this is problematic. Starting to make a nice little Gartley pattern out here. So we might see this thing once the D target's 180 on this thing. The question is whether or not this thing's still a going concern, and whether or not it can stay about above a buck. Of course, nice clip down with decent volume today, and a doji that has broken what was previous support, where this thing did gap up back on the 8th of January. Which acted as support in January 3rd, where this thing rallied all the way up to $4.39. Of course, this thing's made an ABC back down to this level. If we look at the ABC on this one, that puts it at 208 for a 1-to-1 ABC. So we're pretty much there with 216 today. So that's the completion of that one. The question is just whether or not this thing can hold a buck and stay as an ongoing concern, which is problematic. Other stocks of interest out here. FireEye, like we said, the mice will play when the cat's away, and we've got a little bit of that going on here because we got a little short squeeze rolling. But FireEye up on some decent volume, but not enough. Needs about 12 million shares. They squeezed some shorts today with about 8.5 million shares, but $46.44 looks like it's probably going to be pretty decent resistance. And actually, the high volume day was on the 20th of February with 12 million shares. We'll be back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. You can call me at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. We'll be in the next hour with Tom O'Brien. We'll be talking a lot of technology as we wrap the week up. There's a ton of stuff going on in technology and a lot of inside stuff that we're going to talk about. So get ready for that. In the meantime, we're doing the work this week that a lot of people are going to be thinking about Wednesday and Thursday, and I think you can make some money on that. Again, too many people exiting a little too soon, and then they're going to come back a little late. And by the time they figure out what's going on, I think we're already going to have some good trades in place, at least I'm hoping. FireEye, we were talking about that, just a nice gap up here, but again, 40% short interest, thinly traded stocks, and you continue to see a handful of these that they've decided to run. The other one is Shake Shack, S-H-A-K. Similar pattern to GoPro, and that is very few amount of stocks. I think there's only 2.5 million shares of this thing that are trading. 40% of those are short. And we've got a little bounce out here, of course, a little lower than the open, but pretty much making the same kind of trajectory and movement that we saw in GoPro. So could this come back down to $40? I think the answer is easily yes. The question is, when will the gamblers let go of this thing? And I don't know the answer of that, or I'd be short this thing right now, or when I knew. But looks like they're going to play with this one for a while. Of course, you can always call me at 877-927-6648, or you can post a message in the den. I know a lot of people are getting ready for their long weekend. And just as an aside, boy, watch out, because I thought it was bad yesterday when I went to lunch. Today it was insane. People, as a friend of mine once said, have a cranial rectal inversion. And I've never seen it take, 3 round trips of a stoplight to get through one of these intersections, but it did, because everybody waited a good 30 seconds, 45 seconds before the first car moved. They all fell asleep at the stoplight. And don't let that be you. Be aware that everybody else out there is thinking about everything else other than driving out there today, and be careful. Sotheby's kind of making a very nice little pattern out here as a triple top, going back to the super high, a volume high of almost a year ago, July 1st, 2014. $44.95. This thing had 2.5 million shares. Got into it with 880,000 shares, he said, on February 12th. And of course, just a few days ago, on the 20th, 560,000 shares. So not a lot of people, getting up to these highs, volume incredibly light. A few stocks out here actually are making patterns that don't look too bad. What are you looking at on Apple? Did I say something about Apple? Okay, you say what you're looking on at Apple. Okay. We'll look at Apple here in a minute. I'm not exactly sure what I said about Apple, though. You got to remind me. Century aluminum siding. Kind of an interesting pattern out here. And that is this 3.5 million share low from March 24th, $32.87. 3.5 million shares, got into it with 2.9 million shares on April 23rd, 2.3 million shares on May 20th. And if you're looking for some kind of low and a nice move off the bottom of these, that is, it's building a nice bottom out here. If this thing does not break below this low, that would be very interesting. Not exactly sure why Century Aluminum would get going. You have a high volume day here where this thing did pop on the 1st of May. It's kind of come back down on very light volume too. Let's take a quick look at AA, see if there's anything else in that one. Alcoa, this one needs a little bit more. Maybe this thing's just coming back down to its lows. On Alcoa, look for the low of $12.65, 32 million shares. Well, we got about, another 30 cents down on this thing. Volume is light. This may not be a bad setup in the aluminum business if we can find it. What am I looking at in Apple? AAPL. Just no energy on Apple. We'll be talking about Apple a little bit more in the next hour with Tom O'Brien, so I'll leave it till then. But just not a lot out here other than a few spikes. A lot of selling, insider selling in Apple. We'll be back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're like me, you see the world's emerging nations as a very real opportunity, as these countries and their economies are developing right before our eyes. And you can rest assured that Everbank has spotted this opportunity too. In fact, they've just released the second running of their 5-year Market Safe Futures Economy CD. This is a CD that could really deliver, but you only have until June 11th to take advantage. Consider the facts. If the future economy's currencies beat the US dollar over the CD term, you'll get all of the upside at maturity. And should they lose, no worries. There's zero downside risk here, as you get back 100% of your deposited principal. Don't miss out. The June 11th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN-CD for more information, including important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN-CD. Everbank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we are back. We've got gold off 30 cents. We've got silver off 7 cents. Platinum's off $8.90. And what do we else we've got out here? What was crude doing out here? Off 94 cents. The crude was actually up, I think, at 61.50, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have my charts from my home system here today, but that looks like it did a little bit of a reversal. And, of course, the big news of the day is that dollar index. If you were listening to yesterday's show, I said we were going to see 96.30, and I see that on the contract. What do we have on the cash? 96.23. So certainly in there. I wonder what the high was. 96.20. Yeah, 96.23, 96.22. Have we gotten up there? Let me refresh this high-low on my system. And we're right in there. Just a dime away. Haven't touched it yet, but certainly the dollar index up to that 96.30 level. And what else do we have going on here? 96.27. Okay, so we're about 3 cents short of that for the high today, 96.24 on the continuous contract. So we are right up there, and the dollar has not failed to give people in the FX market a heart attack on a daily basis. The S&Ps, again, volume is incredibly light, 1.72 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. And I don't think you have to say anything other than that. I've been playing around with trying to close at all-time highs with the NASDAQ. My guess is we're going to pull back off of it. 1 billion shares so far today, 50.95 right now. And I don't know if there's a whole lot other than to say about that. Continuing to see more QE around the globe, and I think that's why, especially in China, they are going to be doing yet another round of dropping interest rates. And I think a little bit between that, a little bit between the Greece news out here that looks like a fait accompli now, that we're just waiting for I think it's the 15th of June, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to have to go look at that this weekend. But certainly we're going to see that fairly quickly. But pretty much putting a hat or a top on things like gold and silver, and certainly putting a little pressure, of course, on the crude market today. In the meantime, back to the charts that I've been looking at, and that is Aspirion Therapeutics. This one seems to be working fairly well. We had a nice, huge spike, three soldiers, advancing shoulders kind of pattern out here that basically exhausted itself on March 19th at 118.95. You had 6 million shares on that in the last 3 days going up to that high. Let's call it 1 million shares, 700,000 shares, and 1 million shares yesterday. You did go above it. You closed it back below it. You got a reversal pattern, and it was on, I guess this is the easy math, right? 6 million shares to 1 million shares, 1/6 the volume. Not a big surprise that we popped right back down the other side out here on Aspirion Therapeutics. One of the stocks that has caught my attention in that gold market is Harmony. And I'm going to ask Tom about this. At least this thing is back down to its previous lows on light volume. The November 11th low of 2014 came in at $1.53 on 6.4 million shares. And what did we have yesterday? 4 million shares, 2 million shares. Yeah, this certainly coming back in here. Today, 1.5 million shares. I'll bring this up to him on the show in the early part of it, and maybe he'll have some insight to this. Actually, not a bad-looking chart pattern out here. I would have liked to seen volume decrease off this last leg back down, April 28th. I don't have any idea on the fundamentals. I haven't looked at this stock. I just thought, of a chart pattern, not bad-looking. Just would have liked to seen the volume really come off on this last down leg, although as we get down to these lows, not seeing volume at least increase on it, which may be interesting. So we'll take a look at it. Other things of interest out here is HealthNet, HNT. That one had a nice little high out here at $61.55 on March 20th. 1 million shares. We got into it today with what? 237,000 shares yesterday, 388,000 shares. The day before on that, 700,000 shares. So you can see as we get up to these highs in a lot of these stocks, the volume just truly falls out and doesn't do much for us out here. ITT, of course, for-profit education. Can you say the best of the worst? The best house in a bad neighborhood? For-profit education has not been doing well. I'm going to say ITT had a better placement ratio, actually taught somebody. And maybe for-profit education is not the way that we should look at ITT. Maybe trade school. Maybe that's the differentiating factor between it and all the rest of the people that got into for-profit and basically have nothing to show for it now. It's for a stock value on most of these. But watching this thing at least go back to the February 13th high of $42.97 that had 2 million shares, and we're going up against that today with 300,000 shares. Yesterday we had 448,000 shares. So not surprising to see, basically 2 million shares being tested out here with a fourth of the volume on ITT. So maybe this is just in a bigger trading range, or maybe there's laws being changed, but a good indication that it's time to go check on stuff. in that sector. Linux has been the stock that I've been watching out here, saying that maybe this is the end of the housing boom. This is hanging out here on fairly decent or fairly light volume. We were going up against the April 15th high at 114.08 with 1 million shares. This thing has gotten right up to this thing and done nothing but go sideways. Always makes me want to check when the earnings date is. So let's take a quick thing. And July 20th. So we still have enough time to go out here before this comes back. But interesting chart pattern, no volume out here. You really would need some kind of sign of weakness to say that this thing is headed back down to these nice two gaps that run from about 96 bucks up to 100. Those go back to early February, late January. Yeah, the first one is January 22nd, and the next one occurred on the 2nd of February. Those nice two gaps look pretty sweet out here, and I suspect that we're going to get those tested. Other places in the housing market that look like we're getting some interesting signals out here is Mohawk Industries. I would not short it because, of course, this has got the grubby little fingers of Mr. Buffett all over it. He could just decide to buy yet another million shares tomorrow. But certainly not a lot of other people getting real excited about buying the tops out here. The March 2nd high had 1.9 million shares at 188.26. As we got into that over the last couple of days, 1.3 million shares. This is starting to close back down below that level. And I think if you can't get Mr. Buffett to push his stock up any higher, you got to keep an eye on that. PerkinElmer, PKI, another one of these testing highs on very light volume. Just going back to the May 1st, this is a shorter term one. 2.6 million shares at $53.52. Got into it the last couple of days, again, with a measly volume of 730,000 shares. It went above it. It's closed below it. We got a doji out here on the other side. And let's get what these guys do for a living. Just earnings date, profile. There we go. Provides product services and solutions to the diagnostic, research, environmental, industry, and laboratory services markets worldwide. The company operates through two segments, human health and environmental health. The human health segment develops diagnostic tools and applications. Segments. I don't see anything else out here. A lot of big words, which we won't repeat. But certainly going to keep an eye on this when we come back on Tuesday. Any kind of move down would probably suggest that this thing has made a temporary high and maybe is more likely to be in a trading range back down to this May 7th low at $50.09. Not a huge trade out here, but looks fairly interesting. ServiceMaster Global Holdings is another stock looking like maybe it's made its double top. When we look at the March 20th high at $36.95, 870,000 shares. We got into that 3 days ago with 370,000 shares. Yesterday, 257,000. Today, 242,000. Not a lot of juice back up at this high. And certainly, if we look at this as the high on March 20th to the low on April 13th back up to this high on May 20th, we certainly have everything we're looking for. That is lighter volume at the end. Energy was off about 20% on this back leg back up. And you've got a high volume day back here that's going to act to support somewhere around that $30 level. And I suspect that's where you'd want to be looking at this thing. And you're probably going to have fairly decent support back there at that level. Get my clock back up here. Okay, so we got plenty of time. Get back in a few more of these before the end of the day. Tyson Foods. I was kind of surprised about this one today, other than the fact that the volume was telling us everything. I think I brought this up on Wednesday. And you should have probably seen a lot more out here in the November 20th, 2014 high at $43.37. 9 million shares, got into it with 5.4 million shares. A nice little doji, a reversal back into the trading range. And you can see a nice trading range come back out here. Your last decent volume day took you to about $40.50. So you could be in a $3.5 trading range now with Tyson's Foods. And I don't know exactly how that bird flu is going to affect them. You'd think that it would hurt sales. They're going to charge more for the chicken they do have. So maybe it's a wash, maybe it's a little bit down. We talked about this one, which is Towers and Watson earlier this week, TW. Another one that volume kind of shrank, 700,000 shares, March 2nd. The last couple of days, we were looking at 323,000 shares, 425,000 shares on this high from May 20th, and that's kind of pulled back out here. Again, getting awful close, but no cigar, as they used to say at the circus. Visteon Corporation, and of course this one's very interesting because I saw a lot of people pushing General Motors and pushing other car manufacturers in the last couple of days, and I wanted to see, if the car manufacturer's going to do well, Visteon's going to do well. VC is the symbol on this guy. If you don't remember this company, they make parts for automotive manufacturers. September 10th, the high is 109.41 with 2.2 million shares. Tried to get into it at 107 on December 31st. Came back into the trading range. We are back one more time up here, and some nice gaps with some energy as, not a real big candle out here. So I won't call it a sign of strength on the 7th of May, but 1.2 million shares. But again, right back up to these highs, 2.2 million shares. We're basically clipping along here with 1/4 the volume. And let's see when they report. I don't remember seeing them anytime soon. Okay, they've got a while. August 4th is the next reporting date on them. But not a lot of people getting all hot and bothered to go after it. We've been talking about Wells Fargo all week, and I may talk with Tom about this in the next hour too. But certainly the banks probably look rather tired and exhausted at this point. Certainly no so much more than Wells Fargo, WFC. And, you got a nice triple top out here. It starts with the December 29th high at 55.94 with 36 million shares. You get into it above it with 28 million shares on March 23rd. And then we get into it with basically our 17 million shares. And this is, a lot of people probably don't understand a lot of time what I'm bringing up and bringing these charts up and why I'm putting them in the newsletter each morning. But what I look for is double tops with half the volume and double of bottoms with half the volume. And this one certainly qualifies out here that we do go up against a previous high, and the volume has finally died by about 50%. These are the ones that really get your averages up when you're doing price and volume trading. Last for this segment out here is Quicksilver, and kind of an interesting company out here. If you were looking for a kind of a penny stock out here that may be making a bottom, you may want to look at this one. Nice sign of strength off the bottom December 12th. In the next 3 or 4 days, this thing's come back into that almost 8 million share takeoff day of December 12th. On March 10th with 3.5 million shares bounced again. Volume and energy still coming out. This is really what you like to see if you want to be bullish, whether it's a $1 stock or a $100 stock. But this is looking pretty good. You want it to test that $1.44 level with a light volume. ZQK is the symbol on that guy. We'll be back in a minute.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we are back, and we've got a little bit of movement out here. And by little, I mean little. And we're up, we're down 33 cents now. 21.29, and you could pretty much figure out that this is going to be a fairly light day from even a week ago. The only thing that's probably strange to me today is that they weren't able to drive this up another 10 points. It certainly looked like they thought that they could by the way that the options were at. It looked to me like they were going to try to push this thing to 21.45. Never really got there. Just a whole lot of no-mo. And by mo, I mean momentum. 1.8 million shares, or excuse me, 1.8 billion shares so far. 5,097. So we're gonna. I think it's 5,096 is the all-time high. So if we close above that, we'll be going into the weekend. What they won't be telling you is the lack of liquidity. 1.1 billion shares on the Nasdaq today, and I think we're going to see a lot more when we come back on Tuesday. On John Deere, we have, okay volume up past this previous high. Of course, earnings out last night, extremely bullish discussions from John Deere. And, of course, we had our friend Mr. James Kramer decide to slather on to this and really try to talk it up this morning. February 18th, $92.78. 5.9 million shares. We've got 6.1 million shares today. It looks like it may close over a little bit. We talked about yesterday about how this was one of the stocks that was starting to see some short interest come into it. They may be a little early out here. See if there's any pin action as we go sideways out here for Caterpillar. And I don't know. We talked about this one too. This is another one that everybody's starting to short in hedge fund land. Not a lot of short interest so far, but you are going, I guess probably the problem with Caterpillar is it's coming into a high volume down day of the 5th of January with that day had 11.3 million shares. So you got into it with 8 million, got into it with 8 million shares, 8.2 million shares yesterday, and today just not a lot. So you're going to need a little bit more, 11.3 million shares to get into that. 90 and a half, something like that, $91. Maybe you could see that on Monday. You certainly did have a nice low volume test of the lows back here, and there's nothing giving away on that. So Caterpillar, at best, you would think is a range between somewhere around $90 and 78, but you may not get all of that. This one's got a fairly decent test down here at the lows. Other stocks that might be of interest out here, just going to give got enough time out here. Keep looking for lows in these 3D printer companies, and I don't know, are they going to go any lower than whale poop? Because they keep going down. But maybe we might be finding just a little bit out here in the fact that at least 3D Systems has got some fairly light volume. 1.1 million shares today, and of course not breaking the lows out here. And we may have at least a temporary washout in some of these 3D printer stocks. SSYS is the another one we have. Do we have enough time? Just about. I see Tom O'Brien warming up in the bullpen out there. Of course, we'll be back in the next hour. We'll be talking technology and other stuff. And if not, I'll see you Tuesday when we come back from vacation. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember, to sell when you can, not when you have to.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.